The Y2K style is hitting hard right now in the summer of 2022. And as somebody who has short legs, not all of these trends are very height inspired. So there's a way to navigate it that I think is really good. And there's a lot of things that I would just tell you to run away from, especially because when I was in high school, I was in the Y2K period and there were clothes that I tried. And I look back at photos and I'm like, what was I doing? And so I just don't want that for you. When you look back at photos, you need to figure out what honors you and your proportions and go from there when adopting trends. And so today I'm going to show you how to do that. The first trend that I would tell you to avoid if you have short legs like me is low slung anything, meaning jeans, trousers, mini skirts, etc. All of these are going to minimize your legs and maximize your torso proportion. That also is just something that in our brains we realize long legs equals being tall, which we know isn't really true, but that's how the eye perceives it. So the longer the leg length that appears, then you can start to work with your proportions in lengthening your appearance. So yeah, anything that's going to cut you off like right at the hip isn't going to be quite as lengthening as something like a mid-rise. And even with mid-rise, for me, as someone who has a long torso, I need something that's high-rise. So that's why you'll always see me in a high-rise pant. Now, if that touches your ribs and it's really uncomfortable, then yeah, drop down to a mid-rise. But anything that is low slung is going to have a little bit more of an appearance of being shorter. So you have to decide if you are willing to take the hit on this style. Next is knee-length skirts, and I just want to quote Who What Wear right now. They said, "Not too long, not too short. Instagram's favorite skirt length for summer is just right. Knee-length skirts, which often have fallen on the wayside compared to maxi, midi, mini lengths, are seeing a serious surge in popularity on the app, most notably paired with sleek knee-high boots." So what does this mean? If you are having something that's knee length, I think a lot of people are told that they need to have a knee length skirt. And to that I'm like, well, let's just pause for a second. If we do that, if you think of it from a photography standpoint, that's cutting you right at an appendage. And anything that is going to crop you right there isn't great. So I'm talking elbows, I'm talking wrists, anything that is right at the ankle, right at the knee. These are points in which it's better to get a little bit longer or a little bit shorter. Even a couple inches is all you need, and then you can create this beautiful balance because it seems more like it's flowing and there's more to the story. And I don't know, it's just something where visually in photography, they tell you to never crop a photo right there. And so the same can be said for something like a knee-length skirt. Next is super baggy jeans. This is a trend to avoid because I can tell you, I used to wear the baggiest jeans and I thought they were so cool looking. I paid many detention visits just because I liked things that would drag the ground. Totally seems like a different person compared to who I am now and what I've chosen to wear. But why this isn't going to do any favors is because, again, it creates a bottom-heavy appearance. And when we're talking about putting fabric over your body, it's better to add some bulk up top near your shoulders because that can handle it more than the bottom half can if you're wanting that taller, slimmer appearance with your outfits. So that is a really cool, trendy style to be able to have something that's baggy and casual and sort of has this appearance like a devil-may-care appearance. But when you're talking through what is going to make you look taller, if you have short legs, if you want to appear longer, then a super baggy jean isn't going to do that. Another quote that I want to read for this next one is about bulky bags. Glamour said it's officially time to end our love affair with micro bags as this season sees the biggest, bulkiest totes that take the handbag world by storm. I will never do this again. I used to. I can actually tell you a point in my life where I wanted to create this appearance of having this huge tote and I thought it was so cool looking. It was for my first desk job, so it would carry my laptop and every essential that I really didn't need to bring with me. And I had to carry it a mile to my car and back. There was one summer day where I actually had my car towed and didn't know it. So I'm searching for my car and my tote bag is so heavy and so cumbersome for my size that my strap on my tote broke. So I am carrying around this huge tote and I'm looking for my car and I'm sweating. It was not a good day. And so when I can look back, I'm like, how much of that stuff was I lugging around that I didn't need? Even if you're just having a nearly empty big tote that you're carrying around, This isn't going to do great things for your size if you are short, because the proportions of that just don't seem right. If you're a runway model and you are 6 feet tall, absolutely, you can carry the biggest bag with you and it looks ironic, but when you are small like me, this doesn't look ironic. This looks like any bag that you're normally trying to carry that is too big for you. And so it's better to have something that is appropriate to your size to be able to have a bag that is appropriate, in relation. And so for me, if I have a lot that I do need to carry with me in the day, like papers or a laptop, and I'm going to a meeting, then yeah, absolutely, I don't mind saying like bring a tote that carries your computer or whatever. But if you have to carry that with you all day to do errands like run and get coffee, it's better to have a wristlet or something small inside the bag where you can carry that and leave the rest in your car. Okay, at the beginning of this video, I mentioned about how low-rise isn't doing anyone any favors, but I want to zero in on the low-rise micro mini skirt. The problem with this is that even though a mini skirt can be very lengthening as far as your leg real estate is concerned, it isn't going to have that same lengthening appearance if that rise is super low. And the way that you can think of this is if clothing is considered blocks on your body, the eye can't quite move up and down if there are blocks in it. And so when you are having a mini skirt that is low rise, it's like your eye stops low and then it continues, but that hesitation in the eye is not going to be that lengthening appearance that you want. And so if you are going to have a mini skirt, it's better to have a high rise or a mid rise than it would be to have a low rise to lengthen your legs. As you can tell, there is a lot that simple fabric can do to exaggerate your form or to make it something that you feel great in and complements your form. And so what we can do is be really intentional about where the eye moves and what it says and what it's doing. And so when you are thinking through these styles, just be really conscious of that. It's okay to love trends. And I think that these designers that are creating them are looking at where we are in society, where we are as a decade, and what we as consumers like, and they're just trying to meet that demand. But they aren't considering you and your exact proportions when they are creating these. So yeah, just think about that as you are doing this. And if you feel lost as to this, I talk a lot about finding your personal style in my masterclass, and that's actually open right now. I'll leave a link down below, or you can go to dearlybethany.com, and within 6 weeks, you're gonna be able to find your personal taste in clothing and be able to discover that and then create a wardrobe to match it. So yeah, you check that out down below. Don't forget to like this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.